Welcome to the power of your lymphatic system. This is going to be a 3-part mini series. So this is part 1. So let's take a look at this diagram, and this is a diagram of the female body, and you can see all of the lymph nodes throughout the body. They come from the bottom, all the way from the tips of the toes, all the way up to into the head. So let's take a look at where these lymph nodes are in the body. We'll start from the feet. You can see that they are throughout the tops of our feet. They come up through the legs, and we're going to stop at the top of the thighs. You can see how the clusters, and by the knees, they start to form larger clusters of nodes, and then you work in through the groin, and you can start to see those start to form as well. And then the nodes really start to cluster throughout the belly, throughout the torso, and then at the sternum, in between the rib cage, throughout the rib cage, and a lot near the shoulders, where the shoulders kind of crease if you roll your shoulder forward, and then throughout the arms and a lot near the elbow joints. You can see them go, lymph nodes go all the way down into the fingers, and then coming back up to your shoulders, you can see how they cluster throughout your face and head. So this is what our lymphatic system looks like in the body. So it kind of looks similar to other systems in the body. The circulatory system, for instance, it looks very similar to how that will look. So basically, this diagram has stripped away all the other systems of the body just so that we can primarily focus on the lymph system. So before we get started, just want to share a little bit about me. I am Vanessa Reagans, and I am on a mission to age gracefully and heal holistically. So I have, throughout all of my career, I have gathered a lot of information and certification since 2005. I have been a massage therapist. I've been certified in about 4 styles of yoga. So Hatha Yoga, that's more traditional style, Yin Yoga, Yoga Shred, and then stand-up paddleboard yoga. I just received in 2020 my Mastery Life Coaching certification. So that has allowed me to offer health and life coaching to my clients. And I'm currently studying Qigong. So when you take all of the certifications and all the knowledge that I have gained over my entrepreneur journey, my personal experiences, plus my professional experiences equals the holistic approach. So that is my primary focus. All right, so today we're going to learn about the lymphatic role, the lymph system's role in the body. What is it going to do? So again, we're going to look at a couple different diagrams just so you can kind of see the depth of the lymph system. So I really like this diagram. This is a male body, and what I really enjoy is that you can see a little bit more detail of where these lymph nodes land within the skeletal system, which is really cool. So here we go. We're going to start near the elbows. You can see those were the clusters I was talking about earlier on the very first slide. And then we can come up into the armpit, and you can see how they the clusters almost get a little bit closer together. Now, if you look through the ribs to the spine, you can see how much of the lymph system intertwines with our skeletal system and along the spinal cord, which makes sense because that's where a lot of where our nerves live. So that makes a lot of sense. You can see all along here, this whole section, the lymph nodes are right there. And then I also like to share they're all along the side of the neck and into your face and head as well. So you can kind of imagine they're pretty small up in the face, but behind the head, there are a lot of larger lymph nodes that I'm going to share in part 2 and part 3 of this series. So what is the lymph? It is a colorless fluid. So if you were to watch a dissection, you don't really get to see the lymph fluid, but when they are able to restrict that or take that away from the body, it's clear. It's 90% water, it's 10% waste, protein, and hormones. I'm going to share a little bit more about that in a little bit too. It also contains oxygen, proteins, glucose, and white blood cells, or WBCs. So that is what it is. Here's another diagram. This is of a woman body, and I'm just showing a little bit more in depth of where these lymph nodes reside. Now, when it comes to the woman's body, in the breast tissue, there are additional lymph nodes in there as well. So we have a little bit more in the chest area. So how do you know if you're experiencing a problem in the body that is because of your lymph system? So here are some signs and symptoms of a problem that you might be experiencing in the lymph system. So if you wake up in the morning and you're experiencing stiffness and tightness and you're sore in your body, you might have a lymph problem. There could be bloating or swelling in your face or the extremities in your arms and legs or within the belly. You could be experiencing bad breath, slow capillary refill. So if you press on your hand and it takes too long, I think it's more than 3 seconds to return to the normal skin color, then there's a slow capillary refill issue, which is related to lymph. Next, your skin appearance. If you have varicose veins, if you are experiencing acne or discoloration in the skin, or the temperature of the skin is too hot or too cold, this could be because the protein is leaking into the body and it becomes acidic. And then the body is actually going to start stealing that calcium from the vascular walls. So if there is any discoloration, a temperature issue, acne, varicose veins, this could all be because of your lymphatic system. Next, it's your lymphatic system is acting up. Last but not least, any pain or tenderness when you're palpating any of your lymph nodes. All right, here is the last little diagram. This is of the male body, just more of a straight shot from the chest here. So you can kind of see it is very similar to that female version. Let's see if I can go back there. You can kind of see a little bit of a difference with those. So now we're going to explore the role of the lymphatic system. We shared what it is. Now, what does that clear liquid do? It is your sewage system of the body. It is literally, its primary job is to remove your viruses, any bacteria, fungus, parasites, cellular waste, proteins, and toxins out of the body. That's a lot. That's a huge responsibility. Those are a lot of different things that it is actively trying to rid our bodies of, our body tissues of. Comparing our lymph system to our circulatory system, we have 15 liters of lymph, versus we have 5 liters of blood within the system. I'm just going to take a sip of water. So that is a pretty big, significant difference between the lymph and the blood. And we have 600 to 700 lymph nodes throughout our body, from head to toe. Now, the cool thing is that about 1/3 of those lymph nodes are and live from our neck up. Okie dokie. So my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies, is Finding Nemo. So this was how the lymphatic system and how what its role is in our body was explained to me as a fish tank. So this is kind of my little version of it. So I love this picture. It's a picture of fish in a fish tank. It has beautiful, active, alive coral at the bottom. There's plenty of rocks for them to swim through. The water looks really, really clear and clean. And the fish are bright. They look super duper happy swimming in this very clean aquarium or very clean ocean or part of the ocean. All right, so the fluid, the water is representing, our lymph system, our lymph fluids. And the fish and the coral and the rocks are going to represent the other parts of the system. So our organs, our skeletal system, all play a part in this. Remember, none of the systems of the body work alone. And our lymphatic system is the one that gets ignored the most. And I will admit to it too. This is all new for me too, but it makes sense. So I love it. So here are the fish. They're swimming in this very, very clear water. They can breathe through their gills. They're happy, happy, happy fish. So what happens when we don't take care of our lymph? We're not moving it properly, or things just kind of get backed up in that system. This is what happens. The fish tank becomes mossy. It becomes really, really gross. Certainly no fish is going to be able to breathe freely in that water. It's going to feel like you are, well, for me, it reminds me of breathing the Southern California air. I used to live in the Inland Empire and remember very well how we would be outside all day long, and then we would be back in our house and kind of calming down from the day, from swimming all day or being at the beach, and you take this nice deep breath in and your lungs just hurt. So that's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of those times in SoCal when we would be playing all day and that deep breath at the end of a day would just hurt. And that's what this reminds me of. So we have this scenario or this scenario. Either way, if you're not moving your lymph, it's going to be as if you are swimming in your own poop emoji. And that is the truth. So that is exactly what is happening. The filter system is working properly here. But if it gets backed up, if there's something blocking it, then it turns to this mucky, mossy environment. Which environment do you prefer? What fish tank do you want to live in? So there are two things that move our lymph system. Before I explain that, I want to share that our circulatory system has a pump that works 24/7. It's our heart. Our heart pumps our circulatory system, our blood throughout the body to our heart, to all the systems of the body. But it's doing that consistently. We don't have to do anything to really make that organ work properly. Now, when it comes to our lymph system, this becomes our responsibility. We have to move our lymph system. And there are two things that move our lymph system: breathing and movement. And you get to combine the two. Of course, you can think of if you've ever done a run, or I used to play soccer when I was little. We were doing a lot of breathing and a lot of moving in agility in all planes of motion. So it is ultimately our responsibility to move our lymph. You can move that in any which way. You just want to make sure that you're getting your heart rate up, and breathing and movement is helping move that lymph through the body. Now, I wanted to provide this information in bite-sized chunks. And one of the things that really helped me succeed and be very successful within my massage therapy training was creating songs or little tunes, or making the answers match a certain tune. So when it was time for the tests, I would be able to remember those answers, and I was ultimately able, that helped me ace all of my tests. So here is my wrap up message for you. So let's take a look at this. Put your hands together and welcome the power of your lymphatic system. It plays a crucial role in how our body functions, so it's time to have a proper discussion on why this hasn't been explored before. It disposes of viruses, parasites, bacteria, and more. Take my friend Nemo from the Big Blue. He got caught by a deep sea diver who placed him in a fish tank for the first time with other fish who helped him fill it with grime, slowly turning the water from clean to green, all the fish swimming in their own sheet. This is what happens to our systems of the body. If we don't move, our lymph becomes mossy. So now you have a decision to make. Do you want to live in a clean or grimy fish tank? All right, I hope you were able to hear that. I was trying to make sure it was up loud. I'm going to be posting that on my Instagram very, very soon. So I hope that you enjoyed that little pun, that wrap-up message. So again, what fish tank do you want to live in? Do you want to live in that really crystal clear fish tank, or do you want to live in that mossy fish tank? So I plan on obviously sharing more about how to clear your lymph nodes, and I'm going to be sharing more about this lymphatic system and the power of it in the next couple of events. So I want to know, what was your main takeaway from this event, and let me know in the comment box below. I would love for you to hit subscribe and subscribe to my channel, or follow me on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn and Twitter. And if you are interested in learning how to work with me one-on-one, please visit my website here, vanessareagans.com. And if you want to follow me on any of the platforms that I've listed here, you can find me at Vanessa Reagans. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this event. I really appreciate your attention. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.